Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to Maxpat Dating. It's a new year, and we're excited to be doing our first stream of 2025. We got a really interesting one today. So we are joined by our friend Andy Holt. Thanks for coming on today, man.
Hey, all right, thanks.
Delayed response for 2025.
Yeah, good to have you, man. And so, obviously, as you guys see by the title, it's Treat Dating Like an Experiment. And this is something that Andy and I, behind the scenes, have been talking about for quite a long time. And it's funny, guys. So sometimes you'll hear a message over and over, and then it just takes that one time of hearing it before it actually like starts to click in. So the last couple of days, Andy, we've been talking about this, and it really hit for me. So I thought it would be a perfect stream to start the new year off. And I think it'll give a lot of guys some alleviation of the pressure and the stress of having to do this whole dating journey and, get rejected and all that stuff. So, Andy, can you kind of start us off with what this means to you and why this has been such an important part of your evolution?
Yeah, sure. So the title, Treat Dating Like an Experiment, during the summer, I actually did a video when I was out in Budapest. Actually, it was early summer, and I used exactly this title. And I know we've been talking about it for a long time. And when I use the term treat dating like an experiment, what I actually mean is I think it extrapolates beyond dating, because life is an experiment, right? And like I said in the video that I did, your current dating life, let's say, whatever results you're getting, and that might be good results, bad results, depending on where you are in your journey. It's always relative to where you currently are. And I use the analogy of, in the UK, we have like an MOT test on a car. And the MOT test is only relevant to that particular day on that car. So if you pass an MOT, it means the car's roadworthy. What I mean is it's only ever relevant to your current moment. And when I say treat it like an experiment, what I mean is your current dating results are based on where you currently are. And you should treat it like an experiment if you're on an improvement journey. So if you've got a growth mindset, then you can grow and evolve and change everything. And maybe your dating life's not going particularly well, probably because you've got some sort of personal issues you need to work on from a mental perspective. Maybe you've got anger issues or something like this. So if you're looking to fix them issues and you're on a kind of an improvement journey, you can keep measuring yourself, and as you grow, you get better results. So if you're getting really shitty results, right, treat it like an experiment, as in almost like it doesn't matter where you are today, because tomorrow you could be better. You could be getting better results. You might need to lose some weight. You might need to do something, to improve your results. So life is a big experiment, and I think treating it like an experiment without taking it too seriously is the way to go. Now, what I would add, if you've got almost like a closed mindset or a fixed mindset, then you can't afford to treat it like an experiment, because you're probably going to get the same results for the rest of your life. So they are your current results. But if you're looking to sort of maybe fix a few issues, let's say you're a little bit anxious or a little bit needy, right? And you're looking to resolve that neediness and maybe a bit of one-itis or whatever, maybe you just had a breakup and you're feeling like shit, and you're looking to sort of sort your head out and get in the right frame of mind, that's where it's better to treat it like an experiment, because you've got a growth mindset. And it's almost like, you can forgive yourself for mistakes of the past, because tomorrow you ain't going to make those mistakes. I talked a lot there. I don't know if you fully understand it, but it's an experiment if you're on a path to improvement. If you've got a closed mindset, it's reality, isn't it?
I'd hope if you're in the dating game, you are treating it like an experiment, and it is going hand in hand with the path to improvement, because otherwise you'll kind of level up real quick, but then you'll see that the results that you were getting that were constantly improving, then they just kind of fizzle out, or you find yourself in a place that well, I like to call, for lack of a better word, or word we use all the time, is complacency. And what you don't want to be doing is just thinking, okay, yeah, it's good enough, because what happens a lot of times, and Joel and I have talked about this recently. For example, Andy, you mentioned sometimes guys will get one-nightus. Well, when they do get one-nightus and ultimately the girl pulls back, I always tell guys, I've told Joel this, I tell myself this, and I've told plenty of clients and fans this, that what happens is when she pulls back, she'll ultimately come back at some point. And what happens is, if you're staying on your self-improvement journey, that a lot of times you won't even want her back. You'll think, okay, this girl is now no longer good enough for what it is I'm looking for. And people get caught up in like, oh, is she good? Is she good enough? You don't even have to necessarily look at that, but are we aligned in what it is we want out of this relationship or situation? And I use the term experimentation all the time when it comes to online dating, texting, cold approach, more in the procurement or the prospecting phase of dating. That, for example, Joel takes guys out all the time to do the cold approach thing. You learn, okay, well, stop her this way, give her this much distance, say this, not that, get her number at this point, don't do this, know when the interaction is over and be the one to end the interaction. I do the same thing in online dating. We literally build an online inbound marketing dating funnel, and that requires experimentation all along the way. And even to today, I'd say I've had this down for so many years now that I rarely even have to think about it, but I'm always experimenting. Like, okay, well, maybe I want to see the girl longer before getting intimate. Maybe I don't want to date this type of girl anymore. Maybe in the text sequence, I won't confirm. Maybe I did this earlier last year. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to pay for Ubers anymore. Sure enough, nothing happened. Nothing changed results wise in the terms of new volume or quality or flake rates or any of that kind of stuff. So you're always adjusting multiple variables along the way to see what the outcome is, in the hopes of down the line getting it all together again in a way that fits for you.
Yeah, I think that's very well said, Jaron. And I think one of the main reasons we want to have this podcast is because, especially when you're starting out and you're not quite where you want to be, it's easy to put like a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, oh my gosh, like I want to be having this kind of result. I want to be dating like this. And instead, like, this is the results I'm having. So like, I know for me personally, I can get in my head a bit and kind of frustrated, like, oh, I'm putting in the work. Some girls aren't coming through me. I'm not meeting the girls I want. And I think it's reminding myself that like, this is all just trial and error, right? It's just being at university. And, Andy and I were talking today, like if I was at university and I was on year 2 of, my studies, and I was like upset that I wasn't in grad school, somebody would be like, what? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I think when changing, the whole mindset into dating like an experiment, it takes the pressure off a bit and it allows you to have more fun with it. Because at the end of the day, dating is super fun. And when you're first having those wins in dating, it's like a whole new experience. Like it's like the world's opening up for the first time. And then it kind of, you get into the mundanity of it, and you get in kind of the difficult work of dating, I would say, is like learning about yourself and learning how to attract the people that you really want, the girls you really want. And so that can be a bit of a different experience than like freshman year when you're just out partying all the time, quote unquote. So Andy, any thoughts going off that? And
it just takes me back to like when I was first thinking about this term, treat dating like an experiment. I was actually talking to a guy at the time who was having a few struggles. He's got some anxiety issues, right? And I was trying to help him, through these anxiety issues. And what came to mind to me was, listen, right, you're not quite, he was trying to date some girl and she was flaking and this, that and the other. And what I was trying to say to him was, you've almost got to let go of, in any philosophy, we spoke about this earlier, Joe, right? In any kind of philosophy, any of the kind of advanced philosophies, whether that's like Buddhism, yoga, Taoism, Stoics, they all talk about being outcome independent and letting go. And I think it's not just dating, it's anything in life. When you're in, when you want something so badly, I don't know if you ever, when you're really attached to an outcome and you want something so badly, That kind of neediness comes through. And I was trying to explain to this guy that he's got to let go of trying to really date this one particular girl or whatever. And at the time, I just sort of said to him, look, treat it like an experiment. And what you would be better off doing, because you're not quite getting the results right now, I would kind of almost downplay the importance of the dates that you're having with this girl and just focus on what you need to do. So, you know, he's a really talented musician, this guy. Was like, just focus on your business and your music. And I would spend the time improving there rather than agonizing over whether you're sending her the perfect text message, whether she's coming out. And then revisit it a few months later when you've got your ducks in a row, maybe, you know, your work-life balance and everything else, and all your kind of career and everything. Go hit the gym, you know, go and do whatever you want, and kind of level up in a few areas, and then come back to it and get your mind right, read a few things, you know, get your mindset right, try and cure your anxiety, and then approach it from a fresh perspective when you've made some improvements, and then remeasure, because the chances are, if he improves over that time and he remeasures and gets better results, then that's the essence of treating it like an experiment. And a lot of it is about really becoming outcome independent, like agnostic, sort of letting go of, you know, another one might be, let's say you're carrying a bit of extra weight, you've got to lose a lot of weight, that kind of thing. And it might take you 6 months, 12 months to really get in shape. Then if you measure your performance over that time, chances are, not just dating, everything, maybe your work gets easier, your clarity of thought gets easier, all of these things get easier, and you can treat the whole game of life like an experiment. And as long as you're improving, you should get better results. And therefore you can let go of the outcome a little bit. So I think letting go, I know it's a slogan and it's in a lot of philosophies, and becoming outcome independent, but it really does work. You know, sometimes if you're not getting the results that you want, it's probably better to not worry about it, park it, download the importance of it, and focus on where you are getting results in life, or where you can make a difference. So I think letting go is really important. And it depends what your goal is too, right?
Yeah, and that's why you want to treat dating as a process in general, which is why I think this is such a perfect analogy in terms of treating it like an experience. Because if you do put all of your focus, all of your time, energy, wants, desires, grandest dreams into one girl, which it's not really the girl. Like most guys in that situation, you don't even know the girl yet. It's you're sold on an idea of what she could be, or a fantasy. You try to, I use the analogy, you try to squeeze her into a box that she doesn't want to fit into. Then that's going to cause you issues. But what you want to do is that in this particular case, okay, well, maybe there's not one box, maybe you have multiple boxes, kind of like a roster thing, which most girls do. Hey, you know what? She's not good for long-term relationship material, but I'm kind of busy with XYZ activities in my life. My focus is on other things, but she's a cool girl that comes through town every now and then. We go out, we have a good time. It's kind of like a fractional relationship is what I call those. And then she's off on her merry little way. I'm off doing my thing. And then when we cross paths again, we pick up where we left off. That could be completely fine for some people. For other people, okay, maybe they only want that long-term girlfriend and they're not going to entertain, you know, short-term flings or whatever. It really depends on where you're at in your journey and what it is you're looking for. But I think a lot of guys shut themselves out because they say it has to be this way, and they don't give themselves the opportunity to explore the other areas of dating. Because once you see the big picture and you know where you fit in, or you know that, okay, well, if I want to do this, then I need to do this, or if I do this, then this will be the outcome. Then you have kind of a little more of mastery in the game. Yeah, so there will be times, you know, a girl will flake on you, and then maybe it'll tear you up for a bit, or you're seeing a girl for a while and you really like her, and then all of a sudden she ghosts you and blocks you, which it's funny. There's actually a girl text me right now, like 3 months ago. I think we tried to hang out over a weekend. She kept, I think she like flaked twice, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I archived the conversation. I was getting onto this chat to find the link, clicked on my archive tab by accident, and there she was. She'd messaged me a few times, like, okay, you know, whatever. So at this point, I get to choose. Obviously, we can't schedule dates because she will not follow through with them. We've seen that based on past behavior. But I usually drop a standard line like, hey, you know, if you happen to be in the neighborhood and you're free, let me know. If I'm free too, we can link up. And if not, it's whatever. But you learn not to hold high expectations for people that don't want to be placed in that category. This girl is not a girlfriend type material. She's made that very clear by her actions. In fact, I got stood up on it. New Year's off to a great start. I got stood up on a date yesterday, and this girl sent me like a long paragraph of "you're terrible, you're breaking these girls' hearts, and your damn dating channel, and get out of Mexico, goddamn gringo," things like that. Which you'll get that every now and then if you're in foreign countries, but. Yeah, Joel had one of those recently too, which a lot of guys like, oh my God, what's going on? But it's not necessarily a bad thing in the sense that guys that are newer to the journey, you'll realize that the worst thing you can do, or the worst thing that can happen when you're in the dating process, especially in the initial phases, is when she's indifferent. She just doesn't care at all. Now, this is a polar opposite, or an extreme case where she cares so much that she's gonna really waste her time to set a date knowing that she's not going to show up to just to send like a paragraph and think, haha, you got the last laugh. But at the end of the day, when you have abundance in your dating life, when you are outcome independent, it's like a lot of times when that happens, I'm stoked. I'm like, oh good, now my night's free. I can do stuff that I want to do. I can go get some good food, I can relax, I can play guitar, whatever those hobbies might look like for you. Or I can hit up another girl that actually does want to see me. So again, it really depends, guys, on how you want to intentionally design your dating life. But with the experimentation analogy, you do want to be focusing on the process, because every girl that comes into the funnel or the process is a data point. And you want to see where that goes. And the more experiences you get, the more collection of data you have to draw from to know where you're at and what decisions need to be made to move these things forward and get the desired outcome.
Yeah, you put it really well, man. Like putting the girls in the proper box. And this is something that I myself have experimented with and learned over the last few months, is that like, just like with friends and stuff, like some friends are going to be friends that you talk deeply with. Some friends are going to be guys that, you just shoot the shit and go out and grab dinner. So just like with dating, it's really important to put the girls in the proper box, because otherwise, and I think we've all made this mistake, is you date a girl and you think she could be long-term potential, but from the get-go, there were clear signs that she was not that kind of person. And because we ignored them, it's easy to be like, okay, yeah, this is going to be the girl that I'm looking for. But I know for myself that I've really learned on this journey, like I gotta put them in the proper box a lot faster. And because for me, I'm solving for something more long-term. It's disqualifying a lot of women. And I think that's just, the experiment I'm testing with right now.
Joel, you also have to be aware of what box she has put you in, because this is what caused a lot of disconnect. Oh my God, she's my one and only. We're going to build a life together. And for you, she could just be seeing you as a booty call, or as like a weekend fling or a fun time, which if you're aware of that, that's fine. You're not going to create those unrealistic expectations, and you're still going to have good experiences with cool chicks.
100%. Yeah. Like, I was seeing a girl recently, and she's like, yeah, I'm looking for something long-term. She said that right from the get-go. So I'm like, all right, she sees me as that potential. Right. But and that just comes with time. It comes with experience. I think this is a big thing. This is what we're going to possibly label the stream too. But it was like, you need experience, and guys need experience to figure out all these little nuances. Right. One of my mentors, Nick, his name is, and you'll eventually he'll be coaching with us in the near future. Like he just says this, like it's just like I'll ask him a question about something with dating. He's just like, oh, get more experience. I'm like,
yep.
Is that it? He's like, yep. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks for the chat. So the more, and this is what all three of us help you guys with, is really figuring out how to get out there and start to get the most experience you can possibly get in the fastest way. Because that's the fastest route you're going to get to any sort of mastery, whether it's sports, whether it's meditation, whether it's, making money in business. Like, you need that experience. So it can be easy to watch YouTube videos and be like, okay, like I can just, do it like these guys can. But most of the guys that you see that have success in any area, not just dating, have been working on their craft for years, for decades. Right. So I think that's really important to remember too, that like you might be starting at the beginning, but I think Commando Master, he said it pretty well. Every person that you get on a date is going to be a great learning experience, right?
Yeah. And you're going to take some L's too. You're going to get the cuts, scrapes, bruises, scabs, and scars. And you kind of need that along the process. It's like anything. Joel, you mentioned sports, that if you're a sport, you're not going to be world class right out the gate. You're going to have a lot of embarrassing fails, like riding a bike. You're going to fall off multiple times, but you have to get back up. Weightlifting, that is the name of the game. You have to not necessarily go to failure if you're training, but you have to push yourself into uncomfortable territory so your body can have a hypercompensatory effect to get you to that next level. And I would say I was a baseball player growing up. Baseball is a game of failure. If you're batting over 300 career average, then you're in the Hall of Fame. You're next level. So remember that yeah, you will have these instances. And Joel and I've talked to you about when I share instances on the channel, this girl flaked or things didn't work out the way I maybe wanted them to. That's why it's nice not having that outcome independence. And then people be like, oh, I can't believe, oh, you're a dating coach and you get flaked on. It's like, but you have to be honest. That's what the game looks like. Yes, I was really good at baseball through college too. I actually had a 400 and change batting average. It's a very good batting average. But if people said, oh, 60% of the time you don't get on base, what a loser. I'm like, all right, I was good enough to play in college. So it really depends on how you look at it. But for dating, it is a game of failure, and realize that when things don't go your way, Joel, I told you this recently when we did your videos a couple months ago regarding the breakup in Cabos, that whenever a girl leaves or whenever things fizzle out or whenever things, hopefully it doesn't come to an abrupt end. Usually these relationships, they just kind of fizzle out. But when she's no longer there, what she's doing is she's allowing you space for a girl who is more aligned with what it is you're looking for to come into your life. So keep that in mind too. And the moment it sucks, it's really hard to take that information. Like, oh, what's this guy talking about? But some of my biggest heartbreaks when I was young, real early in the game, some of my biggest heartbreaks, I look back, I'm like, oh, thank God that girl cheated on me, because I've had such a great life since then. Like my first high school girlfriend was like, God, I probably would have married that girl. I'm from a small town. I didn't know any better. Thank God she cheated on me when she was rushing sorority her freshman year of college, because that gave me the opportunity to go travel the world and studied abroad in Mexico, which, kind of came back full circle. I'm back here again. I mean, it really allowed me the space and liberty to live a full life. Whereas for her, I wouldn't want to live that life. Let's just say that.
For sure. Yeah. Andy, you've had a recent, I couldn't agree more, John. Like, you say that a lot too. Like, you've told me this, like when a girl leaves you, it's just creating space for somebody better. And always, every time somebody better comes in. Andy, we've been talking about
almost instantly
behind the scenes too, like kind of a similar situation.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So on the experience, I'm going to be pretty biased here as well. I think it's slightly different for girls and guys, but on experience, you all experience in life is going to benefit you. But it also depends on where you're at in life and what your goals are. So like, if you're new, let's say you've not been getting dating results, or you're quite new to dating, or maybe, you're going through some kind of improvements. I know you guys coach a lot of sort of guys that are new to it, and maybe they want to level up and get better dating results and things like that. In that case, you need some experience. You've got to understand how dating works, and there's a whole load of mechanics with it. But at some point in your life, your priorities change as well. So like me personally, I'm no longer interested in dating loads and loads of women. You know what I mean? I'm looking for a meaningful connection. So like that's me, right? And some people might say, oh, that's not the way to go and things like this. You just date loads of women and stuff. But I'm just kind of tired of it. I just want a meaningful connection, and that's it, right? And it doesn't matter where you are in life. I am not into short-term quick fixes in anything in life. So if you're not getting results, I'm all about the long game, right? And I would rather you worrying about faffing around on apps and things and worrying about your results there, trying to get more and more and more girls, or rather you really seriously consider your life goals and really focus on your goals and what is going to be a long-term fix for you. And if you look at, let's say you've got like a 5-year journey, you've got long-term plans, you're going to try and create a business or whatever, and you're on that plan, then does it really matter what dating results you're getting today? Yes, experiment, play around with it, but downgrade the importance of it, I would say, if you're not getting the results that you want, and focus where you can actually level up in your life. Maybe like get in the best shape of your life, maybe go and jack that job in that you absolutely hate and go and change your life. It's like when we went on our trip, Jaron, and like not a lot of people do that kind of thing, and they travel around. Maybe you want to live that life where you can travel a bit more and experiment and these kind of things. But I think having life goals should be absolutely fundamental to everything that you do. And I would be looking to sort that out. I would be looking to sort out what is your life goal or life goals, what kind of identity do you hold for yourself, right? And really live according to that identity, and don't really worry about whether the girl turns up and things like this. If she turns up, great. If she doesn't, she's not right for you. So what? You can't be, because dating tends to be the pain point of a lot of guys' lives, right? When it shouldn't be. The pain point should be, are you where you should be in life right now? If you're not, why don't you address that first rather than worrying about the dating? So I think it depends on where you are, but I would not be looking at any short-term fixes, and that's why I like the term treat dating like an experiment, and it applies to everything in life. Treat life like an experiment,
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Andy, because I did just download Hinge today to try it out. It's the one app I haven't tried, so that's ironic. I mean, yeah. I'll give it a shot.
And
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and just piggyback on Andy's comment. And guys, the dating game gets a lot easier when you treat the rest of your life like a game too. You're constantly trying to level up. For me personally, I say there's usually 4 or 5 verticals that I'm working on, and if an activity or an opportunity doesn't fall into one of those core verticals that are my focus, then usually I'm not even interested in it. So, for example, I'm a terrible ice skater, never learned as a kid. Someone's like, "Hey, let's go ice skating." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pass." I'm older. I'll probably break my ankle, not have a good time. I try. Oh, you got to try. I'm like, no, I tried many times as a kid. I'm just not good at it. Not going to do it. Now, if it's something music related, turns out I'm pretty good at it. So yeah. That sounds good. Let's jam. Let's go do something. Let's experiment together. Like that sounds really fun. Gym's just kind of standard thing. It's just something I have to do every day. But gym, if someone wants some training, they want some help or whatever, yeah, that's great. But what you see is that I think the Hudsman said here in the chat, authenticity is the key to dating successfully. Authenticity means being authentic to yourself. So really, when I got big into the dating thing, it's because there was a lack for a lot of guys. It's like, okay, well, maybe I'll fill this void with this attention from women. And then it turns out when that's your only focus, you do get really, really good really fast. But then you realize, okay, well, instead I'm solving these other things. Like, okay, now I'm really good with women, but maybe my finances aren't where they want to be. Maybe my career's not where I want to be. I could be in a little bit better shape. Maybe I'm drinking a little too much. Maybe there's these hobbies I've been putting off because I've been filling that space with women, and I'd rather not do that. So then you put the dating thing, and then we can maybe talk about this point. Do you want to be putting the dating first and then work on other things, or do you want to work on other things and then learn dating? I think personally it's a bit of both. But what happens is when you really just work on yourself in conjunction with improving your dating skills, treating it like an experiment, then you'll notice that you don't really have to try too terribly hard, that the women that you've always sought seem to just come onto your radar. You seem to bump into them. I say for guys that have watched the channel for a while, traveling is always fantastic. Airports, flights, things like that, because you're bumping into people in a very short amount of time in transitional spaces. So they're removed from their hometown biases or their day-to-day life. They're in this weird phase. And I know for me, when I travel, like taking my brain from the US to the small hometown I grew up in, coming back to Mexico City, that takes a couple of days of adjustments. Like, whoa, it's a completely different world. So transitional spaces have always done well for me too. But you'll find that when you're in transitional spaces, and maybe you're not venturing outside of your hometown, maybe you're just going to the supermarket, for whatever reason, I've always said girls have a sixth sense. They just know, they can feel it. So when you're on your game in all areas of life and you're leveling up in all areas of your life, then you will start to attract higher quality women. And it won't really take much effort. It'll just kind of happen.
Yeah, I agree there, Jaron. I mean, just first on travel, I am a great believer that travel is one of them things that builds your character. I particularly like traveling alone because puts you out your
Me too.
comfort zone. Going to a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you travel, and I think it's a great way to sort of broaden your, develop your character, basically. Something that you just triggered my thought there, because something I said in the video that I did on treating dating like an experiment. You are right, focusing on dating alone, it always reminds me of like, I know quite a few guys that are kind of in this space where if you just focus on dating and you don't look at any other area of your life, you'll get really good at attraction skills, right? So you'll be able to like maybe meet a girl and maybe pick up skills. You can get really good at that. But if that is all you've got, usually those women will not stick around longer than about 2 weeks because they'll suss you
Well,
out.
you'll get
that
girls that also don't have stuff going on in
Yeah,
their life.
yeah. You end up being like, oh shit, my battery's going. Oh, I'm all right. Yeah, so you end up being like what's it? Troy Francis used to call it a 2D alpha, right? And it's like, there's no depth to you basically. You're just good on the surface. You know what I mean? You know a few pickup lines and things. And I always think that that's a bit shit because you just end up on this merry-go-round. You know what I mean? If you want to build a meaningful connection, it's not just attraction skills. You need dating skills. You need other life skills. And generally, a woman will not stick around if you've not got your life in order, basically. So this is why I'm a great believer in long-term fixes. You've got to fix. It's almost like fix the man. What does that involve? Well, everything, right? You want to be living the life that you want, right? And you want to be at peace with yourself, great lifestyle, all these kind of things. And something I said in my video, I kind of made this analogy where, let's say, right, you've got what you call inherent value. This is where you're working on yourself. That might be like your finances, your career, your lifestyle, and all them kind of things. Maybe fitness, right? You've got inherent value. And then you've got like game, right? So game is like pickup skills and attraction skills, right? If you've got good game, but no inherent value, you'll get a 6 or an 8 for a bit of a one night stand or whatever, but they won't stay around for longer than 2 weeks, right? So, but if you've got high inherent value and no game, you'll get a faithful 2 in a sexless marriage, right?
Faithful too.
Then again, if you've got really good game and really good inherent value, that's when you have the all the options and the choice, basically, because that's when you become rounded. So you are right. You do need attraction skills and you do need some dating skills, but you also want relationship skills and life skills and business skills and fitness skills and all these other things. Like I've never been married, right? I am so mixed about marriage. I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't know, right? Maybe, but I've never been married. But I've bought some books on marriage from the leading person in the field called John Gottman. I don't know if you know about his work. He's got one called Making Marriage Work, this book. And I thought, why have I bought this? I've no intention of getting married. But I want the skills. I want those long-term relationship skills, right? Because if you ever find yourself in that situation, let's say you do meet the perfect person and you do get yourself into that situation, you want to be armed, don't you, with all the knowledge. So I think it's better, rather than just learning pickup or just learning dating skills or short-term dating skills, you want the whole gambit, and you also want all the life skills. So I am very, very, I like to use mental models that work for all areas of life, right? And I'm not a short-term guy at all. I very much believe, like, take fitness, Jaron. It's not a 6-week job, is it? It's a lifestyle choice that you have to embrace for a very long period of time. And
Forever.
the longer you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, and
And
piggybacking on your analogy, it's like when guys get in the gym, and you'll see this a lot here, not just in Mexico, but anywhere, to where we used to joke when I was in college in Mexico with some of the guys, like, chest and biceps again. Like every day was chest and biceps day. And then you'd get these guys like, oh, like, yeah, I'm not growing anymore. It's like, well, you can't grow your chest if you don't grow your back, and you can't grow your biceps if you don't. You have to train opposing muscle groups, and then as you get older, you realize, I never skipped leg day, because you learn you have to train the body as a whole. That kind of goes to, again, addressing your game situation, not just as it pertains to dating, but in life. I always say you don't want to be unidimensional. You want to have a dynamic personality, because, again, I've been in this situation where, Jaren's really, really good at gaming girls. But like, what else does he do? You're kind of a one-trick pony at that point. Whereas this used to be terrible advice when I was younger, when your parents would tell you, just be yourself. But then eventually it comes full circle. You're like, oh, yeah, they were right. They just didn't tell me how to be myself. You have to kind of figure that out as you go. But for me, I used the example earlier, like, hey, do you want to go ice skating? Nope, absolutely not. 0% interested. Do you want to go see a live rock show? Yeah, let's go. Sign me up.
Jaren, I played hockey for 7 years, so we're going to hit the ice eventually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, no, I've got bad knees, dude. Not going to do that.
No, you're right, guys. Like, yeah, you need to become a well-rounded person. And a lot of the guys that we help and we start, coaching, they have a lot of areas set, but not their dating. So, like, for example, Amir, he came to us and he had a lot of money. He was loaded. He never has to worry about money again. Yeah, but he didn't know he didn't have the dating skills. Or we see people that come to us and they have some dating skills, they have a bit of money, but they don't have the fitness. So I totally agree with you guys that you kind of the key is to learn how to balance all the above. And I think it comes in a spectrum. So it's not like, you work 1 year on business and then you work 1 year on fitness and then you work 1 year on dating. Like, I think for myself, I found that I'm working at them all the time, but there's always one or two that are more prominent. So it'll probably, like, for me right now, it's dating and business are my two main focuses, because fitness is pretty locked down. Then like dating will kind of fall a little bit.
Yeah,
they spill over into each other.
In your fitness.
Yeah, I probably work out too much. I just
and you'll see
guys. You might be like, oh yeah, dude, he works out so much. But no, I'm just skinny. I'm just like naturally skinny. But I have to eat a shit.
But anyway. What you guys will see, Joel, for example, as you improve your fitness, that's going to improve your dating, and that's going to improve your business, and that's going to improve your finances. And when you improve your finances, if your goals are aligned in such a way, if you improve your finances, well, that'll improve your fitness and health, because now you can afford this stuff. Now you can live a more healthy lifestyle, which will also improve your dating. So even things like, again, during COVID, I got into music. I hadn't done it since I was a kid, but it just really makes me happy. It really lights me up. It just kind of levels me out. It's an emotional outlet for me. Fitness for me is kind of like a stress decompress, but it's more of I always say, for me, being fit just kind of keeps everything all together. You train that discipline muscle more than anything, which is very important, but that's going to spill into every area of your life. So even I've had male clients, and actually girls that I date too, I encourage them to get into some sort of an art, some sort of fitness. Doesn't have to be weightlifting. Oh, I want to do gymnastics, or I want to do ice skating. I want to do ballet. I want to do interpretive dance, whatever it is. Do something that just lights your soul on fire, and see if that doesn't spill into other areas of your life, and vice versa.
Yeah, you need both. I mean, like, yeah, I make music, I produce music. That's my hobby. That's my passion. And when I do it, I forget about dating. I forget about work. I forget about all that. And when I come back to that, I'm more lit up and I'm excited to do it again. Versus if I'm focusing too much on dating or too much on business or whatever, I can kind of get too obsessed with it. I think, Andy, one point I wanted to touch on too is when you talked about relationships. Like, that's a really important piece too. And it's something that we can kind of forget about, especially if we're so focused on dating, because it's more like, how do I attract women? How do I go on dates and stuff? But you realize after a while, it's like, okay, you're with the person for maybe 4, 5, 6 months. And it's like, okay, now other areas are coming up. Like boredom comes up. I think that's a big thing about relationships that people don't want to accept, is a long-term relationship can be kind of boring. It's not like this magical lit up thing all the time. And I think
Are you sure? Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like,
well, when I mean, like, when you're spending time with, like, if you're going to live with someone and you're going to be with them every day, and that's what a lot of guys want.
Yeah,
right?
It gets monotonous.
They want like a long-term monogamous relationship. Well, you got to realize that's boring. So how do you face boredom? How do you learn how to sit with these different emotional states that we're not taught about? Because it's exciting to go on a date. It's exciting to get laid. It's exciting to make money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna let you go here. I see
No,
you're you're
I
touching
think we should address
on.
these because it also, I've just seen a really good comment. I think it's on your side of the channel, you guys. I think we should address that after. But on this point, right, when you say that like living with someone and it can get boring, yes, it can, right? But if you think about dating, right, I know a lot of guys that enjoy dating and this kind of thing, right? And what I would say is that if your only interest is short-term dating and all of all these guys that are in short-term dating and trying to get new girls and all that kind of thing, I think that's a form of avoidance, right? To avoid actual relationships, meaningful relationships, is a form of avoidance. It's basically whether it's scared of commitment, scared of getting too connected to someone. It's almost like constantly got your hand in the cookie jar. That's fine, right? It is good fun, but we go through different phases in our lives. Like if we've maybe had some trauma or something like this, yeah, we need to just date around for a bit. But if you go through life never wanting a meaningful relationship and trying to avoid, I think you should embrace all elements of dating and life, right? All experiences. I don't mean like shut yourself in the deep end and asking for absolutely getting your pants taken down and absolutely rinsed through marriage or something crazy like that.
Faithless twos.
Yeah, but like if you're like what I'm trying to say is the hardest game in life is not to find a girl and just go on a quick date. The hardest game in life is a long-term relationship and making it work. And I think you need a different set of skills to do that, right? And to be able to do that, I think you should ought to look to develop all the skills in life. And like this comment here that's just come in, I think it's on your side. It's from a user called Born to Lose. I don't know. Yeah, that one. So if you look at this here, right,
Yeah.
let's just break this down a little bit. Dating in 2025 with modern women is hopeless. 80% of divorce is initiated by women. Okay, right. The second part is probably true, right? But the reason, right, firstly, what I would say about this comment is it's very negative thinking, right? So just being in that headspace, you're probably gonna manifest more of that behavior. I can tell right now with being in that headspace, you're not going to have good results in dating, right? Because the guys that have good results in dating don't complain like that. That's all I would say, right? Yes, 80%.
And look at the name. Look at the guy's name. Born to Lose.
No,
Like
but
he's like
I'm
he's
not
setting
trying
himself
to.
up.
I don't know your
Well, this
name,
guy,
mate. I'm not
I
trying
think
to
this
like.
guy, like, I don't know if he's a troll or if he's like serious, but like this energy is like not welcome with us. Like, I'm just gonna say this right now. Like, we only work with guys who are positive and uplifting. I'm glad we're addressing it right now, but like Born to Lose, man, like you got some work to do, or you're just being a dick. But like, figure it out, man.
True.
Like, you're not.
Could be a bit of both too. It comes from what do they call them? Like the colored capsule type philosophies. I'm not going to use any of them here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So there's certain areas of the internet where guys and when you go through trauma, some of that stuff is good. It's a temporary relief, but if you get stuck in it, then it's really going to cloud your judgment of the world. So when you walk around the world, it's like, why would I have a relationship? 80% of women are trash. Like, guess what? You're only going to get trash women if you get them at all. Years ago, I realized that for me personally, and this will happen to you guys in your game development too, to where when you set your sights higher, then it becomes easier to get the top chicks. Like for me, it's really hard to get a trash girl. They're just not interested in me. But with the ones, at about where I'm at or where I want to go, those girls are actually really, really easy to get along with because you're more in line there. Yeah, I'm actually successful in business. I make over six figures, so I'm not chilling.
That's cool, man. But your attitude sucks.
Yeah.
So like, who cares if you're successful in business?
No.
Like,
Let's give the guy some credit, Joel. Don't because I like this, right? The 80% of he is right. You are right on the stats for sure. Sorry, my battery's going. You are right on the stats for sure. Yeah. Okay. But at the end of the day, right, you now with this knowledge, right? With the knowledge of, you know, that most divorces are initiated by women, right? Once you've been through that or whatever, if you have been through that, now with this knowledge in mind, you should be looking to navigate the world with that fresh knowledge to make sure it never happens to you again. And treating dating like an experiment, back to, so back to treating dating like an experiment answers the very essence to this, because you should be very laid back now when you meet a girl now, right? Having been through some it sounds like you've been through some life experiences. Okay, great. Next time, treat the whole thing like an experiment. Do not get attached to the outcome, and just go with the flow and be a bit more relaxed in life. You know, I mean, maybe like learning to enjoy some solitude so that you don't actually need a woman. You should never need a woman. If the right woman comes along, then great. But being in, you know, very comfortable in your own skin where you don't actually need it, you know, because women can be an addiction, right? I've struggled with this. We've had chats with it. You don't want to be addicted to needing a woman's validation, and treating it like an experiment is a nice way of just, you know, downgrading the importance of it and going, you know what, if this girl's not right, fine. If she, you know, she leaves, whatever. But anyway, there's a lot of truth in what he says, for sure.
We're playing a little good cop, bad cop here. So I appreciate, Andy, you bringing that gentle compassion, because, you know, I think on the flip side, I think you're 100% right,
I
Andy.
can tell, right? Bon to lose. The guy switched on with his comments, for sure, right?
You know, like this comment right here, like,
into it with a negative mindset. I mean, you're only going
to get negative responses, like Joel's.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, like from girls. Yeah. So like here, this comment, last one my day was 39 in our house. So first question is like, why are you dating a 39-year-old who has a business? Like, dude, you're not taking accountability for yourself right here. So it's like, no wonder you're manifesting these results, man. Like, until you start really looking at yourself and the behavior you're doing and why you attracted this kind of person. Yeah, you're right, dude. You're born to lose, and you're going to continue losing. So
okay,
best of luck to you, dude. But we got a good one here. Yeah.
Let's address
this.
It's
a really good one for you, Jaron. Jaron, this is a good one for you here now. It's about obesity. I mean, come on.
So it says, how do I not get discouraged when cold approach and having conversations in genre while still being obese, down to 340 pounds to 310 pounds? So first of all, congrats on the weight loss. This is never fun to hear. I've met guys before. They'll start at 300 pounds, get to 200 pounds. Like, yeah, man, I'm doing good. So it's like, firsthand, congrats. But second, you're still considerably overweight. So keep going. I mean, again, I referred to the capsule, or the, what was it? Crimson capsule earlier, whatever the hell I want to call it. Those guys are right in the sense that you will have an uphill battle if you are significantly obese and you're trying to cold approach. I remember back when I was obese, you don't realize it at the time, because again, I was younger, but my parents would say like, oh, just be yourself, or, you know, put your best self out there and girls will like you. Not when you're obese. I remember the looks they would give me, just kind of like, just, you know, they and most girls are nice to you. So they'll try to let you down slow. And if you don't have that social acuity dialed in yet to understand that, it will hurt a bit, or you'll maybe tiptoe into area that girls nowadays call creepy. So you don't want to do that kind of stuff. Definitely keep the weight loss going down. But what you'll see is that as the weight loss continues, things get easier. So I remember years ago, I've told this story before, when I got my first six pack, I used to tell myself mentally, well, I used to be obese, so I can never get a six pack. And sure enough, it was true. I had led myself to believe that. And then one year, about this time of year, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna give myself 90 days. I'm gonna get a six pack, and I'm going to make this happen. Built the spreadsheets, built the trackers, did my DEXA scans, got my BMR, RMR, TDEE, all of those numbers. If you don't know what those are, look into it, and then really figure out, how does my body actually work? And then what is the quickest path with the least amount of risk? So I don't do crazy steroid cycles or any of that stuff, with the least amount of risk to get the desired result of a six pack. I'm in that situation now. I waved goodbye to my six pack 2 weeks ago before Christmas, and it's starting to come back. I'm starting to see the etching of the abs, but when you do get leaner, it's easier to go back to it. So I can take 2 weeks off. Immediately, my body likes to hold weight. So six pack's gone, but it'll be back in 2 weeks. It's just like dating. There's no stress over it. You just kind of know. So you are taking the first step on your right journey. Kudos to you for getting out there and cold approaching, even while you're still in the initial phase of your weight loss journey. Just
Amen.
keep it up. You're going to have your highs. You're going to have your lows. Keep it up. And remember, at the end of the day, when I first got my six pack and some buddies saw me at a music festival, like, oh my God, how'd you get through it? And I think I said jokingly, there was an old Audrey Hepburn comment that nothing tastes as good as feeling skinny. I kind of amended that for men to where nothing tastes as good as being jacked. Going to my first music festival with my shirt off, veins across my abs, striations, like deep cuts that I didn't even know that I had before. And just looking at the response from girls, guess what? I didn't have to cold approach. Let's just say that when you're at that level of fitness, the girls cold approach you, and like you don't have to game. They pretty much just present you with opportunities, and largely my life's kind of like that today. I'll take my shot. I'll cold approach. I'll open girls online or whatever. I don't really use the dating apps too much. I don't think I've had a new girl in a few months, but I've got a pretty solid rotation now. But still, the girls will come up and they'll just present you offers. So again, you don't want to fall in the mindset that women only like guys because of their looks. It helps. It gets you in the door. It's like having a good resume and you put out in front of a recruiter. It'll get you that first phone screen, but now you have to figure out how to do a phone screen. Now you have to figure out how to do your first 1 to 2, 3 rounds, whatever, of interviews. Now you take home project, whatever that is. So you will get better results as you go along. But the cool thing about the fitness game is no different. You'll realize there's always new levels. So once I got to the point to like, okay, well I can have a 6-pack year round, and I've been big and muscular, and I've been fitness model lean, and I've been strong, like powerlifting type. Like, what do I want to do? Like for me now, it's just, for the longest time, it was don't get fat. That's a negative mindset. You want to reframe your goals from a positive light. But now it's just longevity. Just feel good, be optimized all the time. And once you get into anti-aging, longevity, and optimization, well, that's a whole new level of fitness. In the early days, when I was in my early 20s, I took a couple cycles, pretty large cycles. Now that would make no sense, because that doesn't align with my goal set. Why would I put undue stress on my organs and my body, or just my organism in general? That doesn't fit my goal set now that I'm further down the fitness journey. Whereas earlier I lost like 100 pounds or so in a year, and then I was fat skinny, and I was like, okay. And then I was young, and everyone at my university did it. Like, oh, I'll do a cycle. Guess what? Got really big really fast, but it was half of it was fat, half of it was muscle. And then you had to do these crazy bulk and cut cycles. I don't do crazy bulk and cut cycles anymore. It's 2 or 3 weeks. I'll let the diet go. 2 or 3 weeks, I have a 6-pack again. And that's it.
Yeah, James, when I see this, James, like, I think one thing that's important to remember, like, whether you're fit, whether you're skinny, whatever the case is, you're still going to get discouraged at times by cold approach. Cold approach is one of the hardest things a guy has to do. So like Jaron said, props to you for even doing it. I've done close to 1,600 approaches at this point. And I think I'm sure Andy's done more than I have. And you get rejected a lot. Like a lot of girls will not be interested in you. Obviously I don't have a 1,600 girl rotation. So most of the girls have fallen off, but I think it's just important to I think it's good that you're allowing yourself to feel that discouragement. I think suppressing it and trying to I shouldn't be feeling this way is not a good idea. And use that discouragement to your advantage and to level yourself up, right? Because maybe, like Jeremy was saying, maybe it's a sign to really go deeper into the diet and the fitness and stuff and really lock that in, right? And then you can readjust when you get a little fitter. So Andy, go
I'm just
dive
going
in.
to say, like everything that Jaron said on because Jaron's got so much experience. Because you were absolutely huge, weren't you, Jaron? Like, when you started,
I was a big boy.
Lost a lot of weight. Yeah. And I'm just going to double down on that, because I honestly believe that getting in shape and fitness, it's like the catalyst for all improvement. Every area of your life will improve, and I always think that if you get in shape, you've almost got an obligation to, because everyone will respect you more. Guys, girls, everyone. Because it represents a discipline, and achieving anything in life is about discipline. And I think if you were to get that right, it's like, I know it's hard for people when you're overweight. It is, because I've carried a lot of weight and I've lost a lot of weight, and I've been through periods in my life where I've been bigger, that kind of thing. But getting in shape is a hard discipline. But if you were to do that, James, really commit to it and really get in shape, and it's it's difficult to do. It's hard to do, but it's simple, right? It's just discipline. But if you were to get in shape, I bet everything in your life would improve. Your work, the way you feel about yourself, your self-worth, absolutely everything, all of your dating. And it's just, getting in shape is just a science experiment too. It's a fucking mathematical equation. Eat less than you're flipping burning.
Calories in versus calories out. Then as you get a little more advanced, okay, let's look at the macronutrient breakdown. Then as you get a little more advanced, okay, I need to look at water retention. Okay, maybe I want to start looking at my hormonal profile, what my lipids look like. There's different levels to it. And then you'll find game is the same exact way, or dating, in that the more you do it, the more experience you get, the easier it gets, and the better the results you get for a lot less effort. So for me, I mentioned I don't do crazy bulk cut cycles anymore. I have to overeat for months at a time, and then I have to starve myself for 3 months. That's not fun. I'll just let go for the holidays, and then I don't even diet. I'm just back on my normal diet. I know I'll have a six pack by the mid of this month. I don't even have to think about it. It's just there. But that's after 20 years. That's 20 years into my fitness journey. That mentality would not have worked for me when I was 100 pounds overweight. So you're definitely down the right track. You're doing a good job. Make sure that as you're going through the weight loss journey, because this will likely spill over into your dating life. There's a reason you allowed yourself to get that big. There's some identity issues. Even when I had the six pack, I still viewed myself as a fat person. I had to catch myself doing that. And then I found that when I still had that mentality of like, well, I'm a former fat guy, this can all unravel at any point. It was harder to keep the weight off. But once I think I was like 34, I started losing weight when I was 17. That was a monumental mental point for me. I was like, I've been fitter longer than I've been fatter. And now pretty much no matter what I do, I will be relatively fit. Like I really overate at Christmas. My abs blurred, but I don't have like any fat you can grab. I'm a little puffy because, the macronutrient profile was a bit off, but immediately you just go back to baseline. You have to update your baseline as you go along your fitness journey. Same with dating, get what you can get the experience, but you'll realize that it just gets a little better and a little easier as you go. But at some point you will have to address those issues of what led you to the considerable weight gain to begin with. And a lot of times that's kind of an identity issue. So, and they go hand in hand. It's maybe for women, a lot of times they get overweight. Yeah, for women, a lot of time they get overweight because maybe there's some trauma. So they want to create a physical barrier so people cannot get close to them. I'd say for men, likely that I think to a large degree that may hold true too. So that's certainly debatable. But at the end of the day, understand, like unpack the reasons why you allowed yourself to get to that weight, and you'll have to address those because otherwise, this is even more frustrating than being obese and not getting the results you want with women. I've met guys like this. I've coached guys like this, guys that look like fitness models, and they don't have results with women. So they've attacked the physical problem. They've gotten that taken care of. And I went through a phase like this. Like, I'm jacked now. Why can't I get the girls I want? I was like, oh, you didn't develop the other skill sets. So you still have to. So you still have to work on everything. Which again, it ties in nicely.
Yeah, I was going to dive into that too, James.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
No,
like right. So, like your comment, like I have a hard time being assertive due to my weight. I think that's a good observation. I think it's kind of what we've been saying in the stream. Like, work on tackling like two birds with one stone, right? So the assertiveness, like, it's not gonna magically disappear when you lose the weight. It could, it very well could, but it might not either. I had trouble with assertiveness and setting boundaries and all that stuff. And I've never been over a $170. So it's like, it really does come back, I think, down to the, to how you grew up and stuff. But that, cross that bridge when you get there. I think for now, work on the assertiveness, work on setting boundaries with the body you have, with, Andy was telling me this today, work with what you have. And when you can do that, and make those little improvements, when you do lose the weight eventually, if that's one of your main goals, then you're going to have already developed the skills. But I would say don't wait to lose the weight to start working on these other things. Bro, let me tell you, man, setting boundaries is difficult. It can still be scary sometimes, especially with people you care about or that you respect. So I think this is a great skill to learn as well. And, this is something we can help you. If you want to schedule a call with us, we'd be happy to sit down with you and kind of, see if we can plan something out and be of assistance to you in any way. And that goes for everybody watching. MaxPatDating.com, hit us up, and we'd be happy to, help you with your dating goals. Andy will be eventually, he'll be our guy that we go to after you've, Jaron and I help you with kind of the foundation, like, learning how to attract and date and all that stuff. And Andy's more going to be coming in to help with the long-term stuff. Like, how do I, like retain these women on a longer term basis. So you're going to have everything covered there. And obviously Jaron and Andy both have had weight loss. Well, James, we appreciate you, reaching out and asking these questions. I think these are really good things to look into. And you're right on track, man. You're right on track. So,
Yep.
Andy, I thought, pass it to you as well. You had a couple thoughts as well.
Yeah, I was just going to finish on with James there and the weight loss. Yeah, I think something that Jaron mentioned about still feeling like you're the fat guy after you lose. That unfortunately your kind of subconscious brain takes some time to update. So you may lose the weight, but back of your mind, your self-worth and your subconscious brain may be telling you those negative self-beliefs for a lot longer than that weight loss. So you have to work on mindset as well. A lot of the stuff that I do is very much on mindset focus. Mindset's great for everything in life. It's great for keeping in shape. It's great for dating. It's great for business performance. It's great for like personal mental health. So do not neglect the mindset too. There's a lot of mindset here. And like Jaron said, ask a question. Why did you allow yourself to get obese in the first place? Because no one's born obese, you know what I mean? Whether that's
Andy,
through childhood or...
Andy, I do this thought experiment with guys that are like already on the fit side. If you had to create a diet plan for yourself to gain 100 pounds of pure fat, let's say in a year or 2 years, how difficult would it be for you to add 100 pounds of pure fat? Like it would be way to me, like the way I diet now. That'd be well, you can't gain weight. You're a hard gainer. You don't count. But for us, but even for me now, like it would be really hard, even after a couple of weeks of and I always say I let my diet go. It just means I wasn't on my baseline, but like compared to normal people, I didn't really let myself go during Christmas. Just a little soft, but it'll dice itself up here in a bit. But after like a bad meal or 2 meals or a couple of days, you start to feel shitty. Your sleep's off. Yeah, you have a lingering headache. Your vision starts to blur if you eat too much sugar. Like it's very, very uncomfortable, but you have to power through day after day and like, damn it, I'm going to get fat. And you have to keep going to get 100 pounds overweight. Like that requires a commitment, a much bigger commitment than I'm just not going to put shit in my mouth anymore and then just watch it melt off. So to guys that are out there that may be overweight, I know that may sound crazy to you, but eventually you'll get to the other side of the equation to where once you figure out how to diet and exercise and you understand how your body works as a functional organism, you'll understand what I'm saying will make sense to you. It is really, really hard to get obese. Like you have to really be committed to being overweight to get to that point.
Man, it's a journey I'll never be able to understand. It sounds like the whole...
Oh, we can fatten you up.
Let's
get on it. I'll do that experiment with you.
Okay. Just pudgy little Asian, little Kim Jong body.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that. But anyway, I think Andy's phone died, but we can kind of
let's go ahead and wrap.
There's a lot of aspects to dating. It's not just one thing. It's not just cold approach. It's not just online dating. It's not just fitness, right? It's a culmination of everything. And that's what we're here to help you with, is to figure out, how you can best maximize all this by yourself or on your own with help, of course. But we want to encourage you guys as you start the new year to really take advantage of the new energy. I know it's like New Year's, new resolutions are a bit cliche, but there is some energy about like starting fresh at the beginning of the year. And I think, we did a little reflection, Jaron and I, on the year, like a year ago, right? We were in a totally different place, totally different bank accounts, totally different dating lives. And because we decided to buckle down and really go inwards this year and work really hard on ourselves, we get to reap the benefits now. So I think that's why you're watching this. And I think that's, I think that's why you resonate with us and we resonate with you guys. So really just encourage you guys to get out there and make this an awesome year. Everything you want in your life, you can achieve. It just takes some work. And again, that's why we're here to help you. So maxpatdating.com, you guys can hit us up, schedule a free call with us. We'll hop on a call with you for about 40 minutes, find out where you are in your dating life specifically and what we can do to be of best assistance to you. We help expats, digital nomads, remote workers, retirees, even any guy really that has the mindset and the attitude that I want to be better and I want to put in the work, right? We've seen a few guys on this channel that, go ahead, Jim.
I'll say there's a couple of guys in the comments. So James, feel free to schedule a call if you want. I think we can tackle 2 birds with 1 stone. The weight loss thing. Again, I just touched on the psychology thing, but the psychology is what'll get you to that really lean level. Your last comment there, like you're in a culture where it's acceptable to be overweight. That's something you got to change too. I dealt with that with a buddy over Christmas. Oh, all my friends drink all the time. So, and then I saw over the course of Christmas break, this buddy, like he's kind of changing the culture with his friends. Now they're going to do a weight loss challenge together, and they're not going to drink anymore. So like, it's like you'll need to develop some social skills there too. But again, what's really cool is your situation. These are skills that are transferable to your dating life. If you can influence your circle of friends around you to, approach life with a more healthy mindset, well, you'll eventually get to the point in your dating life to where you can get a group of 4 girls to go to a concert with you and look hot and, dress in little costumes with you and get pictures of you taken all night, if that's something you want to do. But again, all these skill sets are transferable. James, I think it might be beneficial. Go to maxpatdating.com, schedule that 40-minute call.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. James, I grew up in Wisconsin, Monroe, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, and my whole dad's side of the family was overweight, and that's who we spent the most time with. And he was the one guy out of the family that overcame it and lost a shit ton of weight. So when before I was born, he did this. So I see pictures before, I was adopted. So before I came to the US, and he was a big, thick boy. And when the whole time I've known him, he's been slim. He's exercised a ton. So you can do it, and you can ignore the cheese and the beer. I know Midwest is.
You were born during a famine in Korea. That's why you can't put on weight. It all just makes sense.
My birth mom's like, get him to the fattest freaking state in the U.S.
Send him to Wisconsin. Force feed him with curds.
Yeah. They have this thing at Culver's called the Curder Burger. It's like a burger, but instead of the buns, it's cheese curds, and it's the most,
of course,
disgusting.
Yeah, it's Midwest.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, Andy, we're about to wrap here. Do you want to give a shout out to where people can find you and what you do and how we've connected and all that?
Yeah. My battery just went then, so I do apologize. So I've had to jump.
We figured.
Audio's probably not fantastic, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. I mean, just for James, you say about your family struggling with weight. I mean, that's saying a lot. That, you know what I mean. You're coming from a background of
you're breaking the mold,
issues, but you can turn it around. It's literally just a mindset and a mathematical thing. So, right, losing weight, it's just a discipline, and if you were to put your mind to it and actually break that cycle right now. From what you're used to with your family, you break that cycle. What a massive achievement that will be. That will start bleeding into all areas of your life. A lot of things will improve just by you cracking that nut. So I'll keep going. Thanks for doing the stream, guys. You can get me, obviously my details, Instagram at Andy Holt _ACL, or you can go to my channel, Andy M. Holt, or it's just called Andy Holt. I really cover a lot more. What do I do? It's like psychology, really. So I do a lot of goal achievement in psychology. All the long game. Yeah, it's not that I'm not interested in the short term.
You're too good at it, mate. That's the problem. You've mastered it. You're born with it.
Well, we've been through it, so I'm interested in very long-term results now for myself. So
this is a good future topic too, because when I was in Poland with you, I noticed we'd go out, you'd meet girls, and then I think you'll say in the chat oh, hey, I went out with this girl, Svetlana, that I met when I was there with you, Jaron. So you nurture, you take a longer time horizon to nurture it, which I think as you get older and you want kind of you want something more with more longevity. I think I'm starting to experiment that too. No, I'm not coming in hard and fast. It's just kind of feeling it out, see where things go, and then eventually, you start to create kind of more of a more in-depth bond there. So I definitely I've noticed your model because you're just now getting around to girls we met months ago.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, something that Hud said earlier in this chat was about being authentic. And one thing that I've always one of the biggest things I've struggled with in my life is about authenticity, right? Just from my childhood and things, I'd always been very, very good at hiding my emotions, and I come across quite cold. So my big goal is to become more vulnerable, right? Pretty scary because I'm quite an avoidant person, So I know that, Joel, the book that you recommended to me, which is Getting the Love That You Want, is just here, actually. Fantastic book. One of my favourite books, and you can see that. Is that it? There you go. Right. Yep. This talks about practicing the missing part of you. So my missing part is being very, very vulnerable. And that's why I'm into trying to practice vulnerability and become softer. I don't want to be an arsehole all my life. Cold arsehole. So yeah, I am very much into authenticity. So I like that comment that Holt put on. Yeah. So yeah, that's it by me. My details are there.
Yeah. Andy does coaching, guys. So you can check out his website as well. And then also, if you do end up working with us and you decide that at some point you'd like to work with Andy, he's a part of our group as well. But if you want to just start off with him right away, you can go to his channel as well. And hit him up for a consultation. So whoever you need.
First step though, guys, that 40-minute call, we'll throw everything on the table, kind of assess what you need. Like I can't solve everything. Joel can't solve everything, but we have a good network of guys on our team. So, let's say you need 20 hours of work or something, maybe 4 with Andy, 6 with Joel, whatever. We'll go ahead and work that with you. So, just to let you know, get on that call. You have some options. If there's something we can't cover, we will put you in the hands of someone who can definitely tackle those issues with you.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, guys, speaking of the Midwest, we do this thing called the Midwest Goodbye, where you you say goodbye, you talk for like 2 hours. So we could definitely do that right now. I think that's a good cue to wrap it. So thank you guys once again, everyone, for tuning in. Comment down below what you thought of it, and if you guys want us to tackle any other specific topics on a live stream, we'd be happy to do that. And with that, guys, talk to you soon. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Peace, everyone. Bye-bye.